Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Alongside former Badger and Packer Gary Ellerson, here's Emmy Award winner Homer.
The best 60 minutes of your day. It's July. So that, you should know, is the month, even more so than August, because August is training camp for the Packers, where everybody is on assignment. Gary Ellerson on assignment. Jason Wilde, who was on assignment yesterday, is coming on today instead, correct, Pebble?
Correct. He'll be joining us at 5:15.
And then you will thus have a chance to call in, which isn't done much in sports talk, for two particular reasons. One, to answer this question, I don't know if we'll make it a discount liquor Twitter poll question, but what is the one thing that you would like to see above everything else occur in sports? My answer would be the Brewers winning the World Series, because Brewer fans have never won a World Series. I don't assume that everyone would agree, because my assumption about questions like this is always determined by how big a fan you are of a team. If you're a huge Packer fan, you don't feel bad for Brewer fans. I feel terrible for any fans who've never won a championship. And it doesn't count if it happened before you were alive or old enough, before you were, 6, 10, whatever. You have to have experienced it. It's the best thing in sports, and there's nothing even close. Your team, world champion. So the Brewers haven't done it. The Bucks had done it. I would have picked the Brewers over the Bucks winning a second one. Or you might like a player so much you'd want Giannis to win a title. Or you'd want Jordan Love to win a title. Or maybe you're not obsessed with winning as I am. So that's why I asked the question. I don't know how to make it a poll question, because there's just so many options. That's why it's a question that really we need to use the talk and text line. The carbless talk and text line. I'm sorry, I had to make sure that I read this properly. The carbless talk and text line. Liz is more. 1-800-990-3776. You can either talk or text, and it would take you 5 seconds. Yes, more than anything else, what would you like to see occur in sports? You can't. Your answer can't be family. I'd like my brother to win or a sister to win. It doesn't. It's to be a team. My number one is the Brewers win a world championship, win a World Series. And they do have the possibility of that this year if their pitchers can stay healthy. As good a chance to me as they've ever had, because their pitching could lead them through the playoffs. 1-800-990-3776. What yours would be. Jason Wilde, by the way, is going to be on at 5:15. Remember, everything in the NFL is important as it relates to the Green Bay Packers. T.J. Watt, 3 years, $100 million, proving, as everybody has known for a long time, that was the terrible draft mistake that the Packers made. I'm pretty sure I have it accurate. They didn't go after T.J. Watt because they were, as an alternative, able to get two players. But it was to me, it was an easy call, because I'm a huge Genes person. With the success of the Watt family, T.J. Watt seemed like a sure bet. And yes, it would have been the correct bet, though I'm not sure at this point the Packers would have paid him 3 years, $100 million guaranteed. So how does that relate to the Green Bay Packers? Another example that's not the way the Packers work. The thought that maybe Goody would be interested in T.J. Watt, and given that the Steelers until now didn't seem willing to do it. And then now you have Trey Hendrickson with the Cincinnati Bengals. Because the Bengals waited, it would seem that they're going to probably have to pay even more than they would have before. Hendrickson has, I think, about the same number of sacks the last couple of years. That doesn't necessarily mean they will do it because they are the Cincinnati Bengals and they do things certain ways that often don't make sense. But I still think that it would be fair to say that as that relates to the Green Bay Packers, it would be a shock bigger than the money that the Bucs gave, guaranteed $113 million to Damian Lillard. It would be a greater shock than that if the Packers were to get Trey Hendrickson, given the amount that he's going to need. 1-800-990-3776. Talk and text line, 1-800-990-3776. The Carbless Talk and text line. I don't know that we can pull it into a question because it would have to be the one thing that I would like to observe in sports over any other. And I'm not going to say before I die because I don't believe that's the standard that others would have because you're not as old as I am. That's whatever you would want to see next.
We're going to text here to the Talk and text line.
All right, let me write it down. I want to keep track of this.
800-990-3776. The Carbless Talk and text line. List is more. From Tony, he says he wants to see another Tiger Woods win again, and probably, I'm assuming, winning a major. But he wants to see a Tiger Woods win again.
Okay. Now, I would agree with that. I can see that easily. I don't think physically he's able to do it. There's some question as to whether or not he'll even play on the senior tour, but that's a great example. It's a great example. Doesn't mean anybody else has to like it. It's just what yours is. Mine is the Brewers win a championship. Woo! Champions. And that is also for all the Brewer fans. I would have the same feeling about Vikings fans, other than there's one major problem to that. As a rival of the Packers, I don't have any interest in observing the Vikings winning a Super Bowl as relating to the their fans have never experienced it. Who else? Let's see. There are other teams that don't necessarily affect the Brewers. I would feel the same way. No one should go a lifetime following a team that never wins a championship. Be the same way in college sports. Be it a Wisconsin football or basketball fan. Marquette fans have it in 77. I don't know at what point it turns into the Wisconsin national championship of, what was it, 1865 or something? No, 1941, I believe. It's not there yet, but it's getting pretty close. To have experienced the Marquette, you'd have to have been born in before 68. So there are a number of people, because I don't see how you feel the same way if you didn't get to experience it. If people are younger, they'd have no way to know what it was like when the Packers and Lombardi just were whooping up on everyone. You have to be at a certain age. So that's why every fan of every team, when you live X number of years, say you live 50 years, your team should win one championship in 50 years. But that's mine. Doesn't have to be yours. 1-800-990-3776. The Carbless Talk and text line. List is more. In addition, I am currently experiencing something that I've never experienced before, and that is the WNBA. I never watched. Caitlin Clark joins the WNBA. I watch every game she's playing that I can. Now she's hurt. Pebble, guess how much I'm watching the WNBA? Zippo, not a game. Not one game. Not 30 seconds of one game. If I turn on, because she's the Indiana, what are they, the Fever?
Correct.
If they're playing and she's hurt, I'm out. I turn it immediately.
So that means you're a Caitlin Clark fan and not a WNBA
right, and
fan.
I can't think of any sport that I've ever been like that before. So you do that in the Olympics because you're watching Americans win. But as far as a sport of a fan, like I watched football because Barry Sanders, whoever it was, and if he wasn't playing, I didn't watch any game. It's not like I don't watch that team's game. I watch 0 games. And I will admit, watching Caitlin Clark allowed me to see other players in the WNBA that were pretty good. I mean, that's what they should have said originally. I'm glad she's playing because now other people, if more people watch, they'll get to see how good I am. That's what I would have said. But I saw them, and there's not one player that I would watch. There was a highlight of somebody somewhere who just like dunked real easily. Now, if there was somebody in the WNBA that could dunk and was, be Will Chamberlain, then I probably would watch that too. But aside from that, I went from all her games to Zippo. It would be like if Giannis was hurt, not only not watching the Bucks, but not watching a single NBA game. I've never done that in my life. I don't know if anybody else can give another experience like that, because that, as Pebble just said, it means I don't really like the sport that much. Just want to watch her play. But then if I don't like the sport that much, why would I want to watch it even if she's playing? There's no defense of it. It's just reality. There's probably, you might have it, I would think, in professional wrestling. I'm not a professional wrestling fan, but if The Rock was wrestling in an event, I might watch it. Or before that, when my kids were younger, Hulk Hogan. And if he's not in or wasn't in, I don't watch. I haven't watched wrestling once in the last, I don't know, however it was when The Rock ended. Though has he come back? Hasn't he wrestled?
He came back this past year for a few shows.
So
he's been gone since then.
I didn't even adhere to that. I didn't. Probably should have, but again, that would be the only example. 1-800-990-3776. The one thing, Jason Wilde will be coming up in a little bit. The one thing you would like to observe in sports. By the way, John Horst is quoted as saying about Kyle Kuzma, "We were intentional. Kyle gives us an opportunity to play fast. I still believe in Kyle. He's struggled. He hasn't been to the playoffs in a while either. Doc and I have already gone to L.A. to spend time with him. He's a guy we believe in a lot." I don't know. That scares me. If the success of the Bucks this year depends to any degree on Kyle Kuzma, I'm not very confident. And I don't know what they needed to go to L.A. to spend time with him. The only thing he was on the team. You just watch him practice and get better at this or that. I don't know what to tell him that he's an important part of the team. Well, you don't have to tell him that. You determine very easily and show how important a player is on a team by how much you play him. If you play him a lot, then Kyle Kuzma knows he's important. And then if he doesn't play much, he's not playing well enough. So 1-800-990-3776. I don't know if Jason can answer this question. The one thing he'd like to see in sports over everything else, and mine being the Brewers win a World Series. And it is possible. Jason Wilde, next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Northbound 43, right about at Silver Spring. We've got a crash. It's on the left shoulder. It looks like they went behind the barrels there. A couple of cars kind of crunched up. So do be careful. We got big delays coming up from about Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up to that point. On the southbound side, we've got delays heading right past Silver Spring as folks slow down to take a look. Then more delays from Capitol Drive down through the Marquette down to the KK River crossing. Eastbound on 94, we are seeing some delays basically from 84th Street all the way through the Stadium interchange. Westbound's got some delays west of the Highway 100 into Waukesha County towards Sunny Slope Road. More delays from Moreland all the way to Calhoun. Traffic is brought to you by the Neal Group. John Neal and his team know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, increasing clouds later on, a low of 66. Tomorrow, scattered showers and storms. The highest chance will be somewhere in the mid-morning, humid with a high of 81. Weather's brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
With Wilde and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
And you start just listening and reading the tea leaves here. I don't think Watson's going to miss as much time. I would bet he's playing before Halloween.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
He's running, he's cutting, and yes, it's different. I get all of that, but he is highly motivated. He is going to push and push. This isn't going to be one of those, I'm going to wait till I'm 6,000% healthy.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN. ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Escape to Lake Lawn Resort in Delavan, Wisconsin, where everything is better at the lake. Dive into endless outdoor activities, including boating, fishing, and paddleboarding on the serene Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course, or unwind in the award-winning Calidora Spa. Enjoy gourmet meals at 1878 on the lake, casual bites at the Lookout Bar and Eatery, and sweet treats at the Isle of Capri Cafe. Explore Delavan Lake's stunning shores and historic landmarks from the comfort of their 76-foot cruise boat, the Lake Lawn Queen. Book your stay today at LakeLawnResort.com.
The NFC North Green Bay Packers are returning to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and you're invited.
At defensive end number 90, Lucas Hercules Van Ness.
Lucas Van Ness with the sack.
Coming to the all-new Cunis Hope Chevrolet of Milwaukee. Sunday, July 20th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Packer who strikes fear into quarterbacks throughout the NFL, Lucas Van Ness.
Lucas Van Ness bringing the pressure.
During this exclusive 2-hour meet and greet, color action photos of Van Ness will be provided free of charge. Or bring your own item for Lucas to sign.
Pressure, and he's blasted. Ball is out. Still loose on the turf. Packers have it.
Welcome to Cunis Hope Chevrolet, your trusted, family-owned and locally operated dealership in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Say hello to the friendly faces and Lucas Van Ness, live at Cunis Hope Chevrolet of Milwaukee, 11100 West Metro Auto Mall Drive, just off I-41. Sunday, July 20th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
And he lost it. Packers recover.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
The Big Slide, barns and barns of animals, and all that food on a stick. State Fair is one of the biggest events of the summer, and we'd like to send you there. Compliments of Discount Liquor. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Purchase any one case 30-pack cans of Miller High Life or any one 12-pack Leinenkugel craft beer and receive one free State Fair ticket, all while supplies last. But don't delay. Tickets go quickly. And I know you don't want to miss the bacon-wrapped bacon. Visit us today at 51st and Oklahoma in Milwaukee and on Barstow and Main in downtown Waukesha. Discount Liquor, voted best liquor store in Milwaukee again. See us this week for your free Wisconsin State Fair ticket.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
And visit us online at discountliquorinc.com.
This is the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Everybody should hear from Jason Wilde every day of the year about the Green Bay Packers. We do our part. And we're getting close to the number one for the Packers. I'm assuming it's going to be Jordan Love. It has to be Jordan Love. Unless it's the president of the Packers, Ed Policy. I don't know if he's eligible. I don't think so. Jason, is Policy eligible for the number one spot?
No. Thanks for reading. Most important players.
Okay.
Not most important people, not most important figures. I think I can make a pretty good case for Josh Jacobs.
I don't think you can.
I think I can. I don't know if I'd win the argument, but I definitely could make the argument.
He might be number two. But
there's only two guys left.
And who is
the quarterback? It's the quarterback and the running back.
Yeah.
I mean,
you might do running back just to be different, but I mean, it's not.
I only do. Look, much like you, who is often offended when people suggest you are doing things for effect.
Yes, I am offended by that. Yes,
I am too. I'm not doing it for effect. If I believe something,
right,
then I believe it, and then I'm going to go that direction.
I just want to apologize. I made that up. I just Wondered to see how irritated you would be if I said that.
No,
Jason,
you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
Hold on.
You
Let me
know
say.
that.
Let me just. I want to be on record. Jason Wilde's never done that in his life. He's never done that once in his life. Everything he's
I do
done.
things for effect with you. I mean,
No, I'm talking about your writing, not this
okay.
fiddly diddly stuff that we do. As far as your writing, you have never asked a question or had any interest in an article based on for the effect versus what you believed one way or another. And you should be as bothered by it as I am. I don't think people say it as often to you as I do because I'll go out on more limbs than you do.
I don't even have a tree. I got like a flagpole largely.
Yeah,
It's just not my thing. Although today, Tash and I got after it a little bit today. Then I was just talking to Jim, Matt, and Molly in Madison, and Molly was saying how much she enjoyed me getting riled up, and I of course don't enjoy that, and I don't have a lot of limb experience or strong opinion experience. But one of our fans, I think it was Steve in Greenfield, who had texted in and said, look, the Bucks took a big swing, but at least they swing for the fences with Dame, and the Packers never do.
That's crap. That's just utter crap.
And I don't think it's true.
No, it's
but
crap.
I do think
it's worse than not true.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, let's look at what they did with Jacobs. Let's look what they did with McKinney. Let's look at what they did. Let's look what they did to win the title. Look what they did to win the title. Charles Woodson. I mean, they don't do it often, but their philosophy is you win based on developing of your own players because of what all the reasons are. Now, if someone wants to say that philosophy doesn't work anymore because something about the league has changed, I would be open to that. I don't know that that's the case, but
so I think the breakdown. I tried to explain this, Tush, because you're agreeing with Tausch, which should give you pause. But my view of swinging for the fences, the Bucks just swung for the fences, right, by spreading out. Stretching out
the
right?
biggest fence in the history of the league.
Yeah, like the green monster of fences.
Yes, correct.
Right?
Yep.
But again, I factor the swinging for the fences. I factor in the reason for it, right, and the urgency or the desperation.
There are so few players in basketball compared to football.
Sure,
you can
right.
do it differently.
But here's how I got Tausch a little riled up. Like I think when I think of swinging for the fences, I think of it as a synonym for going all in, which we all have different opinions for what that means. But for me anyway, it's you think you're close. And you do something that is a bold maneuver, right? Trading for Drew Holiday was definitely swinging for the fences, right? They gave up a bunch of capital, and it paid off, and they got a title out of it. I don't think signing Jacobs, even though I said to Goody that they weren't just home run signings, but grand slam signings, I don't think they were necessarily swinging for the fence. When I think of a baseball player swinging for the fences, he's, from his heels, trying to get the launch angle and trying to send the ball over the fence. Where some home runs you hit, you just take a nice swing like you normally would take. And so when I look at Josh Jacobs and when I look at Xavier McKinney, they are brilliant, outstanding signings. What they aren't is we're one player away. We're going to swing for the fences here and hope that player is the guy that we need to go win that title. So I gave the example of if they were to trade for Trey Hendrickson, then I would say, holy crap, they're swinging for the fences. I just think that signing two guys at positions where you missed in the draft, right? They missed on A.J. Dillon, so they needed Josh Jacobs to be the next running back after Aaron Jones, and they missed on Darnell Savage, so they needed a new starting safety, and they hit on both of them in a huge way. But, is signing Aaron Banks swinging for the fences? No, right? They signed him to be a starter. They gave him a ton of money. So I think I just have a different definition of that, And I wouldn't say that the Packers never do it. What bothered me about our discussion today was that some of our fans determined that I was saying that they don't do it enough. No, I believe in Goody's approach. I am not a Goody hater for his approach on roster building. What my issue is that, that old saying about everything in moderation, including moderation, like the fact that they have exactly two guys who've celebrated their 30th birthday, and one is the kicker and the other is the long snapper, I think that is too far flung in that no 30-year-old dudes on our roster direction. Like there's a continuum, and they're too far to, we don't want any old guys.
Well, no, but is it that, or is it the players just aren't good enough? The person I would look at now is Philadelphia, their GM, to see what they've done. Yep. Right, but my answer would be he's drafted better players who are more deserving of that third contract than what the Packers have.
Yeah, I think philosophically, I think they think that virtually everyone is replaceable.
Okay.
Like the example
no, you're
that
right.
I like.
Devontae Adams is the one you use, and it's a perfect example. And
they're not always right. Like in the previous eras with Ted, with Ron, like they would have signed John Runyon to a second contract, and then they would have let him walk after that. Like Ted let Marco Rivera and Mike Wall walk. But those types of guys, they don't break the bank. They're really solid. They're proven commodities. They have veteran experience and leadership. So you don't have, I'm sorry, I just don't. I know they love the idea of competition in that wide receiver room, but I still think having that one lead dog changes the dynamic and changes it for the better, especially if the lead dog is established enough, but also has enough humility to be able to say, look, I am the alpha, but I don't want every single ball thrown to me. I don't need that. I need you guys to take advantage when I'm drawing double coverage to catch the ball. And Devontae Adams was great. He was just great about that. And I just don't think that this approach to this point has worked. Now, what's crazy
who
is
other than Devontae Adams in the
Jordy
last
Nelson
10
was
years?
that. Like, here's the thing. Like the biggest, the other thing people give me a lot of grief about is, Jordy
Nelson was
still,
not at the same point in his career as Devontae Adams was.
No, but I'll say he was one of the best wide receivers in football in 2014, right? And then 2015 he blows out his ACL. 2016 he comes back. He's comeback player of the year. And in the meantime, Devontae Adams is growing into a clear-cut number one, just like Greg Jennings overtook Donald Driver, just like Jordy Nelson overtook Greg Jennings. And what was great about Jordy was that, and this is why Goody and I will disagree on this till the day we both aren't doing this anymore or get hit by a bus, and that is he thought keeping Jordy around would cause the Packers quarterback at the time, one Aaron Charles Rodgers, to continue to favor Jordy instead of allowing the torch to be passed to Devontae Adams, which I know Aaron Rodgers was offended by that because, first of all, Aaron Rodgers knew that Devontae Adams was good before anybody else did. And if you want evidence that everyone, including Jordy and including Aaron, knew that the torch had been passed, whether they wanted it to be or not, and they were all fine with it, was that game in Dallas before Rodgers breaks his collarbone in Minnesota in 2017. Devontae Adams is the target on a low red zone pass into the end zone, and it's incomplete. And Devontae Adams comes back to the huddle. It's one of my all-time favorite Rodgers stories and Adams stories because they both tell it brilliantly. Devontae Adams comes back to the huddle and says, throw a better damn ball, and that's a touchdown. Let's run it again. And Rodgers looks at him and goes, okay, throws a better ball, throws the touchdown pass. They win the game and beat the Cowboys in Dallas. Like, that's that kind of stuff. And right now they've created an environment that they believe is healthier, that all these guys are essentially on the same plane, and they're all fighting to be the guy that gets paid and gets designated as the number one receiver. And this is the year where it's now or never, because you got 2 that are going to be done with their contracts and 2 more that'll be going into the final years of their contracts in 26. And so the fact that no one has separated themselves, even with the way Jaden Reed has led them in receptions and yards the last 2 years, I don't think that that's the best way to do it. And look, Goody can say, to hell with you, Jason, I don't care what you think. And that's what he would say. But the results have not said this is the best way to do it. Now, if they go out and make a Super Bowl this year and Jordan Love plays great and all these guys that we've been talking about for weeks that are in pivotal seasons come out and play to the Homer rule of don't judge a young player when they play poorly, judge them when they play well, and they all suddenly click and play a lot more like the guy they are when they play well, then they got a really good football team. And we're going to have a really cool season to chronicle, and they're going to be playing in an NFC championship game. If not enough of those guys elevate their games sufficiently, then they're going to be another 10-7 team that makes the playoffs and either gets beat on the road in the first round or gets beat on the road in the second round.
But is that because of not drafting well enough versus the option of having older players?
Well, I mean, look, right, it's never one thing. So, I don't know if, I think Jaden Reed's a good player. I think he's a really good player. I think Romeo Doubs is, I always like to use guys that I've covered as kind of parallels, right? And because there are similarities, right? I think when I look at Jaden Reed, I do see Randall Cobb. When I look at Matthew Golden, I kind of see Greg Jennings. When I look at Romeo Doubs, I see James Jones. And by the way, all 3 of those guys that I mentioned got second contracts from the Packers, right? Mm-hmm. So, but that's not going to be the case here. Dontavion Wicks, I see Devontae Adams in 14 and 15. Dropped a bunch of balls last year, but the dude gets open. The dude is explosive off the line of scrimmage. He's got great feet. I'm not saying he's going to become Devontae Adams, but I wouldn't give up on him yet. But the problem is no one has really shown enough where you can say definitively who they are. That's the other thing. Whether it's the quarterback or anybody else, I look at this team and I say, who's a finished product? Who do you know for certain is whatever he is? Because I don't think Love is. I certainly hope. We may have to admit that Rashawn Gary is who he is.
Clark.
Kenny Clark is. Great example. He's going to be 30. Elton Jenkins is who he is. But of all those position players, I want to say Tucker Kraft, I feel pretty confident this is who he is, right? Which is pretty darn good.
Zach Tom.
Another good one. So there's some, but, is Luke Musgrave who he's going to be? Which would be
we hope not.
Perpetually injured, right? That's to me, that's the thing. And you would like, in my opinion, to go into this season feeling like you have more guys that you know who they are and you know what they're going to do. I don't think they're that.
I agree with you, but it comes down to me, just how good is he? How good are the players that he's got? What's been done that's special? The quarterback, there's no Aaron Rodgers, there's no Charles Woodson, there's no who is it? And at some point, somebody's got to step up, or you're just kind of pretty good, right? And that to me is on. It's more on the. It's always more on the drafting. Maybe if you realize you have, then they're just fearful that you spend all that money. It limits what you can do elsewhere, right?
Right. But what they're not afraid of, or I guess I would say sufficiently afraid of, because I firmly believe that Goody sees just about everybody as replaceable. And if that's how he feels, what they probably aren't sufficiently afraid
Clay
of.
Matthews. Sorry, Clay.
Yeah, Clay Matthews. And look, B.J. Raji was a terrific draft pick too. The guy was a really, really good player. Thankless job, oddly called it a career way earlier than any of us expected. And unlike Aaron Rodgers, who has said that you're never going to hear from him again, has anyone heard from B.J. Raji again? I haven't. But when I look at this team and where it's at, I feel like if you think everyone is replaceable, then what you should be afraid of, or at least consider, is I don't want to let go of a guy, kind of like the Giants let go of Xavier McKinney, right? How on earth did they let him out of the building? I am sure that there were people in Buffalo who said, how in God's name did the Green Bay Packers allow Micah Hyde out of their building? I am sure that there were teams that when they chose to re-sign Cledius Hunt instead of Vonnie Holiday said, how did they let Vonnie Holiday out of the building and kept that guy? Right? So that has to be part of your calculus. I'm not saying you make decisions out of fear, but you at least have to consider that if your thought process in free agency, which is clearly Goody's, is to sign guys that are on the rise, Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, Billy Turner was a little bit of a different deal, but Adrian Amos was in the last, he spent his first 4 years in Chicago. It's guys that have finished their rookie contracts. They're not going out and signing guys to third contracts after they've had two with another team. But you have to think about it. If that's who you target, are you sure that you don't have guys on your team that other teams are looking going, well, boy, they're idiots if they let this guy out of the building? And I don't know if Goody thinks that way or not, frankly.
Right, and to me, he's going to live or die on he acts like he believes on how good this team is. And if this team isn't that good, then I think you significantly look at how good are they going to be, because this is all based on his judgment of how good these players are. And that's why I have Ed Policy as number one on the list, even though it's not a list of players, because we don't know how he views things. Like, he can look at Goody and say, we can do better. Like some would do, we can do better at a GM. We can, right? I mean, that's the most important decision he's going to make, Policy's going to make. His belief in Goody. And I would say Goody, which I don't know I don't know Policy, but I assume the guy with the biggest heat this year has got to be Goody. That's how I would feel if I was him, because I don't know Policy unless I know him well and know that he believes in me and thinks I'm doing a good job. Then I wouldn't be worried, but couldn't Policy say he's good, but he's not good enough? That's not good enough for the Packers.
Yeah, I would say that I don't think either one of their seats are hot, obviously, but they're critical seasons for both of them. But I would... Because you know Policy? That's how you base that? Well, based on the conversations we had with Policy, I don't know how you don't view it that way.
All right.
And so, but what I would say is I think both of them are in the same boat. Like, I really do. I think they're both in a position where, if he wants to keep... I think what he wants, and he did not say this, so this is just purely my opinion. I think what he wants is for them to be on the same plane of their contracts are running the same. And if let's say this ends up being an abject failure, I don't think he's going to fire one or the other. I think he would say, and I don't think he's going to fire either one. Like, I think they're going to go 10-7. They're going to make the playoffs. They're not going to manage to go on a Super Bowl run. They're each going to get like 1 year added to their contracts, and then the seats will be hot next year. That's the gut feeling I have. I want to join that club. There's no way either of them is gone. They'd have to go. Yeah, they'd have to go 4-13, and there'd have to be infighting and all the kind. And that's not going to happen based on the two people involved. Unless they experience the kind of injuries that San Francisco and Detroit dealt with. Because I don't think they're as deep as those teams were. Yeah, and I think if that's the case, Policy to give him another year. But I think so too. No doubt about it. I totally agree. Yep, totally agree. All right. I love it when we end agreeing. Yeah, and have you done a story? I may have missed it. Have you done a story on Ed with an interview with Ed Policy? Or not? I have not. We had our. I'm waiting for the day of the to post it the day of the of the meeting, of the shareholders meeting.
Oh, yes. I have 4 tickets to the shareholders meeting. I wonder how I get rid of those. Do you think anybody would want to go?
I don't know what the rules are. I don't know if you can just hand those out. If you're a shareholder, I don't know if you can give them away. I don't know how that works.
Can you check on that? I don't want to get.
I would hate for you to not be able to get your dividend check.
Well, no, it's a guy in the Tosa Genius Club who's just being nice because he's going to be out of town. He gave me the 4 that he has for his 4 seats, and I said, "Hey, sure, I'm sure we know somebody that would want to go. They can represent the Tosa Genius Club." But I don't want to get him in trouble. Can you check on that?
I would just, unlike those people at the Coldplay concert that are having an affair, I think if you or whoever is going with those tickets just doesn't broadcast the fact that they're not really the ticket holders,
okay.
I don't think there'll be an issue.
All right, good. I'll take that. I will use that. Jason Wilde said it'd be okay. Thanks.
All right, guys.
One last question.
Okay. Sure.
I said the one thing I want to see is the Brewers win the World Series above everything else. I don't think other people necessarily have the same concern. Is there one thing that you would like to see more than anything else? It can't be family. Okay, I said I don't think you'd have one because then it would mean.
Well, thank goodness you said that because I would have totally answered.
Of course.
That way. I would. No, again, in the theme of us agreeing, I'll join that club. I would love, you know how much I love the 1982 Brewers.
Yep.
So the idea of this team winning a World Series, and again, I would even just take making a World Series.
No.
Again, I know you. You and I, different people.
Yep.
But I'm in your club. That would of all the things that could happen, Badgers national championship, all that other stuff. No, Brewers, and it's not even frankly close.
No more other questions. Thank Jason.
All right, Homer. Take care. Be good.
1-800-990-3776. Carbless Talk and text line. I want this to happen first. Next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
We do have an accident now on Highway 100 northbound at Meineke Avenue. The left lane is blocked, so this is just north of North Avenue. Be careful with that. Other than that, we've got southbound 43 backing up from about Locust down into the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge. The northbound side of 43 still dealing with that accident at Silver Spring. It's behind the barrels on the left, but a couple of white cars all kind of crunched up. I believe squads have gotten onto the scene to try and help with this. Delays are coming up from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up to that scene. Eastbound 94, you're seeing delays from 84th Street through the stadium to about 27th. On the westbound side, clear until you get to Highway 100. That's where it starts to slow down, crossing over to about Elm Grove Road into Waukesha County. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast tonight, partly cloudy skies, increasing clouds later on, a low of 66. Tomorrow, scattered showers and storms. The highest chance will be mid-morning, humid with a high of 81. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, Jen Latta here, and as a client of the We Sell Group, I can tell you firsthand, Rob and Nick make the home buying and selling process easier. Right now, school's out, and that means it's the perfect time to list your home. The market is challenging and inventory is tight, but you don't have to face it alone. Rob and Nick are pros. They take the stress off your plate so you can focus on your family, your summer, and just breathe. Contact Rob and Nick to see what your home might be worth in this market. Connect today at wesell.kw.com. That's wesell.kw.com.
College students, are you looking to make your campus living more comfortable, functional, and fashionable this year? Let IKEA help. From innovative storage solutions and furniture to maximize your space, to fashionable bedding and accessories to make it uniquely yours, IKEA is helping make college living truly inspired by you. And now, qualified college students can save even more with 15% off their IKEA purchase when they sign up for IKEA Family for free. Visit IKEA Oak Creek, IKEA Schaumburg, or check out the Ready for College section on IKEA.com/US to learn more.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know it's not just a car, it also drives your children's dreams. So whether you're going to soccer practice, robotics club, or opening night in the school play. We help protect those dreams. Save up to 23% when you bundle auto and home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family. They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family. Caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. Dr. Nausheen Abbas joined the Holtebeck Eye Center team last September, and her practice philosophy is to provide patient-centered medicine by giving all options. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Fisco Auto Body. I tell you about them because you need them. You need an auto body place, and you've got one. Your kids have one. And then you like me more, too. Here's how it works. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. It's a family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. It's still in the family, which means they're still doing it. And they start doing it when they're really young. And so by the time they're doing it for you, they got it all figured out. That's how they can be that good. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. After you thank them, eventually go, wait, I owe Homer. He's the one who told me about it. Yes, it helps my image. It's not at the top of the list, but it's on the list. Fisco, 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 to remember the name. Thanks to Jason Wilde. Sugar-free, because when there's a discussion about the GM and players, sugar-free always has an opinion. Tonight's no different. All right, sugar-free. TJ Watt's gone. And I told you there's no chance they were going to get him anyway. And now Trey Hendrickson.
Well, no,
Trey
never
Hendrickson's
thought they were going
around,
to get him.
and now there's even less a chance they'll get him because he's going to cost even more than before when I told you they weren't going to get him.
Okay, well, Wilde is strongly – I mean, if I haven't heard someone say he wants the Packers to go and get Trey, that's what he just said to everyone. That's what Wilde just said, and I agree with him 100%. Right now, you need to go give them whatever they want. They want a first-rounder because we'll be late first round. We'll win a Super Bowl with this guy. So you go give them a first round, and we give them a 2-year contract, a high amount, like $82 million for 2 years. And the guy will give us a top 3 defense that we need, and that defense will be studly. And with a offense that is pretty good, I believe 100% you need to go do it now because the time is ticking right now.
Why is the
so
time
that's how
just,
I feel.
well, no, why is the time ticking? You have a young team. If as far as a team, the time is ticking less for the Packers.
No. Time is ticking that Henderson will be off the board. Okay, so he need to go get him.
Do you think
is
they would trade
over
him for
30.
just a number one?
Oh, yeah. One does it. One does it. So one does it. Give him a 2-year, not a 3-year, not a gigantic 3-year contract. Give him a 2-year giant contract. You got the room, the cap. I looked at it. They got enough room to do that, and that's how I believe.
Would it limit their ability? Would it limit their ability to sign other players they might want to, like Zach Tom?
I mean, no way. They've got tons of cap room, so they need to do that. And and that's what Wilde was basically saying. They need to go out, and he's over 30 years old. He would be a leader in that defensive room. You now have two edge rushers that can get to the quarterback. I mean, you got one guy that is unproven, and then who's behind him? I mean, you got to go and do it, dude. You just have to get him. So, hold on. While you state this, you know it's not going to happen, right? Correct.
Okay.
But it needs to happen. He needs to wake up like Gutekunst needs to wake up. Like wake up out of dead sleep and say, "Oh, I got to do this. I have to do this." I mean, I don't know what needs to happen, but policy needs to get in his ear. I don't know. So,
this would be my follow-up. If you believe this that strongly, then you would want to fire Goody.
Why would I want to fire him?
Well, because if he's not doing this, then how good can they be?
I mean, I'm correct. I mean, I've not been a big Goody throughout the years, obviously.
So you won't say if he doesn't get Hendrickson, he should be fired. You're not that far yet.
No. It will just happen if they don't win Super Bowls. So under policy, it'll be interesting to see what kind of extension they get next year if they do, okay or whatever. But I mean, they still have a good team. It's just this will put them at another level. I mean, this is a proven player, an All-Pro. I mean, how many times can you go out and get an All-Pro at a position? I mean, he is an All-Pro
and I think
stud.
It's legitimate to think that Cincinnati could be stupid enough to do something wrong.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Just like the Giants were stupid enough to let McKinney go. All right, Sugar Free, thanks for the call. 1-800-99. Oh, what's the one thing you want to see in sports before anything else? Oh, he left. Mine is the Brewers, and Pebble put together a Discount League Twitter poll question, which we will do next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. On this show, it's always football season.
But that's not the argument here. The argument here is that's great what you've done these 2 years since you two have been the quarterback head coach combo.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
No one is on the hot seat right now, but if you don't deliver more than you have delivered in the first 2 years, I would argue that we start preheating the oven.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The NFC North Green Bay Packers are returning to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and you're invited.
At defensive end number 90, Lucas Hercules Van Ness.
Lucas Van Ness with the sack.
Coming to the all-new Cunis Hope Chevrolet of Milwaukee, Sunday, July 20th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Packer who strikes fear into quarterbacks throughout the NFL, Lucas Van Ness.
Lucas Van Ness bringing the pressure.
During this exclusive 2-hour meet and greet, color action photos of Van Ness will be provided free of charge. Or bring your own item for Lucas to sign.
Pressure, and he's blasted. Ball is out. Still loose on the turf. Packers have it. Ow.
Welcome to Cunis Hope Chevrolet, your trusted, family-owned, and locally operated dealership in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Say hello to the friendly faces and Lucas Van Ness, live at Cunis Hope Chevrolet of Milwaukee, 11100 West Metro Auto Mall Drive, just off I-41. Sunday, July 20th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
And he lost it. Packers recover.
Hi, Mitzi. What's the news from Kessler's in Brookfield? Everything's smooth like butter. We're all just marching to the beat of the big bass drum.
That sounds like fun.
Your email said you wanted to talk about 32 things. What are they?
The 32 things are rare and special engagement rings. Tell me more. Each one of these amazing rings is just waiting for someone to choose the center stone.
What about the side stones?
All the side stones are Kessler 81s.
81 windows exploding with light instead of just 57 windows that are modestly glowing like most other diamonds.
We have 16 rings in 18 karat gold and 16 rings in platinum.
All they need is a center diamond?
Yeah, and our prices on natural center diamonds and created center diamonds are incredibly low right now.
Each store has a beautiful assortment of these rings?
Yes.
and they're priced from just $900 up to $3,900.
Good job. Keep marching to the beat of that big bass drum, Mitzi.
I'm excited.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's, flavor is our family's business.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here with an offer for a bath or shower remodel from Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no interest financing for 12 months. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris discuss the latest Bucks free agency moves and summer league analysis. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The Discount Liquor Twitter poll question put together by Pebble. Which Wisconsin Sports Championship would you like to see happen next? Packers Super Bowl, Brewers World Series, which I said I brought up, Bucks NBA Finals, Wisconsin Football National Championship, Brewers World Series, 61%. Surprised me a little bit. Packers Super Bowl, 29%. Bucks NBA Finals, 3.5%. Wisconsin Football National Championship, 7%. So, it's early in the voting. Brewers World Series, 61. Packers Super Bowl, 29. Wisconsin National Championship, 7. And the Bucks at 4. Maybe that's because they won one so recently. I don't know. I can't speak for the people who voted, but yes. Brewer fans, never. And there is some value to being the World Series. For those of you old enough, this was the way it was in Wisconsin football all those years. The Badgers made it to the finals and lost in the Rose Bowl in 1962 or 63. But that was the best, second. That's why it disappeared immediately when they won the Rose Bowl, as would happen with the Brewers. How special would it be? Number one, keep hoping the Brewers pitchers stay healthy. Number one issue, they win it all only as a result of dominance of their starting pitching. ESPN National next.
Couple of accidents still up on the board. First of all, one on northbound 43 at Silver Spring. Behind the barrels on